Welcome into this episode of Coach's Corner. Jordan Woodruff with you, and great to have you along for the new school year. We've got Chris behind the cameras, and we're joined by Coach Justin Roland to start it off because football is going on and nothing gets the community going quite like a game of football. And, man, we started off with a bang coming up this week as, we started off with your rivals, Enid.
Absolutely. It's always a fun game. They have a new coach over there this year, Coach Cornelson, but it's always a game that the kids are excited about. Attendance is usually really good, so we're ready to go.
All right. You've had a good summer, and I think that's where I want to start is you've been around a long time as a player and as a coach in different levels of coaching. It seemed like this summer things come together, and it was maybe one of the better summers we've seen in this era of Ponca City football.
It was. We try to stress the attendance in the summer and the schedule that we worked, and we pushed them hard this summer. But to the boys' credit, man, they came out and handled their business, 7-on-7, workouts, running. Got a great new strength coach in Coach Franklin, and they've all taken to him well, and it was a great summer.
Yeah, and speaking of new, in May, made the announcement Graham Snelding's going to join. He got to come and scout a little bit. Of course, he's an area guy. Seems like a natural fit. Talk about his transition of taking over the offense and what he's doing right now.
It's been great, from a football standpoint, X's and O's, he's one of the most detailed people I've ever been around. But just his experience as a coach and what he can give me, being a second-year head coach, I'm still learning, so he helps in that end. And then offensively, you hand it to him and say, take off with it. And he's really excited about the pieces that he has.
And that's the big new one as the offense coordinator, but there's a lot of others around him as well. So talk about the staff. And, yes, there's a lot of familiar faces, but there's some new ones too.
There is. On the offensive side of the ball, Coach Max with the O-line. We brought Jason Freeman up also. He's helping. Freeman's one of those kids that works with our big guys lifting in the summer and the winter, and they love him. Coach Service come over with Snelding from El Reno, and he's a right-hand man kind of guy to Coach Snelding, knows the offense, works hard. Cole's a football guy. I mean, he'll be in there till midnight if I ask him, move Coach Williams to the receivers, and it may be the deepest group of kids on our team. Defensively, we added Coach Hallemeyer. He's from the Tulsa area. Well, he's from the Kansas area, but he's been working in Tulsa. Great hire. Works with our defensive ends. Finchers with our D tackles. I still do linebackers. And then we pull Coach Perrin over to our side of the ball. He's with our safeties. And then Coach Campbell's going again with the corners. And Coach Steichen's in there, just kind of a do-it-all guy. And it's been great, though, man. Great staff, great. We gel really well, and the kids seem to like us as well.
All right, let's start. I want to get to your favorite side, the defensive side here in a little bit, but let's start with the offensive side because it is where we're going to see the most new. What kind of install has Graham brought in? And one thing, talking to him, he likes to keep things somewhat simple so those guys can not be thinking too much and overthinking on the field. So talk about what we're going to see on the offensive side.
Well, it's funny with Graham, when he was last in Ponca, of course, he coached the great Brent Wilson and had to throw the ball almost every play. Well, then he went to El Reno and they had to run the ball. He told me he had 7 plays where he could throw the ball. So he's had to adjust, and in that adjustment, he's learned to do both of them. And that's what we're going to do, As far as personnel, we got 2 to 3 running backs that we're really comfortable with, and Big Goose comes back from an ACL injury. Inel Rogers is a sophomore, really good little talented back. And then we were fortunate enough to get a kid that moved in from the Ark City area, and Bam Bam Coleman. They'll all share the load. You still got Harjo, who's going to kind of play in that tweener position. And then at receiver, Colt Shickram's a sophomore. He'll be at X. Ryder Trepton's also out there. Opposite of them is Cortez. Cortez got a chance to legitimately be a college-bound skill couple position player. He'll play a huge part in the offense.
And Cortez, just my observation, what I saw, he seems like one that really dedicated himself this year. His physique is you can tell he looks different, right?
Oh yeah, man. They grow up. We're not big in Ponca on holding kids back, so our kids develop a little bit later. But he looks really good, And Cortez is a kid that last year, heck, in one game he caught a pass, threw a pass, and ran a pass. Caught a touchdown, ran a touchdown, threw a touchdown. I think it'll be more the same with Coach Sneldon. He's going to be a Swiss Army knife. Bring back Johnston Burke at quarterback, and just another year of growing. That was Johnston's first time play quarterback last year. And so everything was new, everything was fast. He's better. He's another one that in the weight room, when you see him, he looks good. He's fit. Up front, you got young kids, you got older kids. The Gifford twins are 15-year-old sophomores, but they're 6'3", 265,
And they played a lot of snaps last year.
They did play a lot of snaps, and that was one of the good part. Their backups, you got Logan Zimmershed, Lance Bush. These are young guys within that offensive line. Of course, Cooper's back at center. He's changed his body. He's gotten a little bit bigger. Looks good. And then you got Blaze and Javi, kind of the old men of the group, but pivotal in what we want to do. And we feel like we're going to be able to do both, run it and pass it.
And speaking of that, the offensive line, there's times you thought maybe it could be okay, but, maybe some injuries, things like that have happened. But looking at it from the time I've been here, and you've been here as long as I have, you've been on the defensive side, some of that.
Yeah.
This looks about as good of an offensive line coming into a season that I've seen.
Absolutely. They're tough, and the hard thing to judge about the O-line is when the bullets start flying. What are they when the bullets start flying? We've been lucky enough to have some good groups at O-line since I've been here, and this one tends to have the size, the athleticism, and just overall enthusiasm into playing the game of football, which you got to have up there, because they're never going to be in the paper. They'll never be on the radio, but they're going to be, if you're a good football team, you're going to know that you were good in that unit. So it's one of those type of groups.
Offensively, we talked about a lot of change. Defensively, well, as far as scheme goes, not as much change there. There may be personnel changes, of course, with guys that left and have come in and made an impact. So let's go to that side of the ball now and what you expect there.
Man, it should be fun, a lot of firsts, a lot of kids that are what I call green, not inexperienced as far as playing time, but they're green to positions, At corner, we brought Jeremy Evans over. He'll do both. He'll platoon it, corner and receiver. Hondo Perez comes back at the other corner. He had a great fall camp, man. I mean, he's gotten a little bit taller. He's always going to work hard being a soccer player. At free safety, we got a young kid, Mike Hudson, and he's solid. Mike looks like one of those kids that may grow into getting into the box and playing some backer, but right now we got him at free safety. Strong safety, we got a mixture of Hayden White. Adriel will play over there as well. And they're both experienced. Hayden White played every game last year.
Yeah.
Adriel's played every game the last 2 years. I think he may be our best player when you look at the whole team.
And he'll move to Strong some, but you really put him in the weak spot now, right?
Absolutely. So we played with that. Last week against Putnam City, we kind of moved him around, and he made some plays in different places. So you'll have that. And then at the bandit position, Ryder will platoon it. He'll play defense and offense. And then we got young guys like Sawyer Bartley will help us. Jackson Hager will help us a ton. And that'll be a unit by kind of committee. Maybe just see who's hot. At linebacker, bring back Jose. Of course, Jose and Goose tore their ACL same week. So got him back this summer. He's looking good at the middle position. Really, really talented outside with Thaden Lee. Talon DeWeese, and Ryan Olvera. Really talented kids, can run. They're a little undersized, but they can run. And then Beckham Angle will find his way in there. D-line's always a crazy piece for us. I don't know why. But we got Mason McCleary at defensive end. He's played on the other side of the ball for a couple of years, but got Mason at the end. Cesar Jimenez is a kid that we bring back, played a little bit last year. Mike Hinman has had one of the best falls that we've had. And it was interesting because Mike's a junior, but he's green. You know, he hadn't played a whole bunch of reps. And so it was really exciting seeing him kind of be what we thought he was going to be coming out of the spring. At nose guard, you got Liam Taylor, call him LT, Aiden Hargraves. They're both young, tough, physical dudes. We'll jump between 40 and 30, so we'll play both of them a bunch. Got Big Mari back. You know, Mari's going to plug it up some at the nose. And then we got a young kid, maybe the only freshman, him and the kicker that'll play for us this year, Quade Anderson. Quade's the little brother to Caden Anderson. So Quade should get some snaps this year as well.
All right. And that you mentioned kicker. I want to go to the special teams part because, you know, high school, we don't look at it as big sometimes, but man, getting 3 points on the board when you have a good drive, hitting those extra points, being able to kick the ball off and maybe put it in the end zone where there's no returns.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's a lot of plus punting, flipping the field. There's a lot of pluses with that. And let's talk about that special teams unit and how you think they're going to do this year.
It's been fun. You know, we got a young kid that's the other freshman, Tucker Love, stud kicker. Man, travels a lot, trains on it. He'll be the place kicker for sure. And then for kickoffs, you got Hondo and Tucker. And then punting, you got Quade and Hondo. And we'll just play it out. Whoever's hot, you know, will get it. The deep snapper will be Beckham Angle. And then the short snapper should be LT right now. But, I mean, old Tucker all summer long. Yeah. Can I get in there and kick? He's probably good from 45 right now. You know, and he's young. He's a freshman. So as he develops, man, he's got to be one of the better freshman kickers in the whole state.
And another thing I'll say I've noted, last year it seemed like you had a few explosive plays in the return game. Mm-hmm. Some of them got called back. Even one with Enid, if you remember, that could have changed the whole dynamic. Yeah. But it seems like those used to be very few and far between. It seems like you've gotten a little bit more of those. So talk about your return guys, because you have a lot of skilled guys that could probably do it.
It's cool. I think you'll enjoy our kickoff return. I mean, but in that little group of kiddos, you got Cortez, you got Donovan Harjo, you got Bam Bam Coleman back there, you got Ryder back there, you know. For us, so we split the special teams. Return and punch, you got Colt Shickram, Mike Hudson's a heck of a returner, and then we got Jeremy Evans also with us. So there's a ton of dudes that, like you said, can create big plays. And I think being creative special team wise, one of the best teams I ever seen do it was Bixby. Mm-hmm. They were a nightmare to defend and be offensive against on their special teams. Just kind of creating another element to the game, maybe another thing they got to prepare for. So we'll look to be special on special teams.
All right. Last thing to get into is your opponent. I mean, you started off with your rivals early every year in a non-district game. It's a tradition. I mean, this goes back to the 60s where Enid beat Ponca City in that state championship game. Yeah. The blood ever since then is boiled.
It is.
Talk about what they're going to bring to the table this year. We talk about new offensively for you guys. They got a brand new head coach. They're doing new installs on both sides of the ball. Yeah. But they do have some talented kids. And from what I'm hearing, they got a really, really good defensive line that you guys are going to have to work on.
Yeah, I think that's their strength, you know, is their big guys up front. They're always massive for some reason on their O&D line. And they platoon those kiddos. You know, I think all four of them that start on that D-line start for them somewhere on offense. And they're going through some youth movements, kind of like us, around that line. But talented kids, you know they're going to be physical. You know they're going to have a couple skilled kids that are tough. So it'll be up to us to handle our business. And playing Enid's one of those things where, you know, for me in high school, I don't want to say it was an easy game, but it wasn't nothing we worried about. To where, you know, now I think we're 1-9 against them last 10 years, so we're due for a victory.
Yeah, certainly so, and we'll see if we can't get that coming up this Friday night. And once again, they got some new, as mentioned, their new head coach over there. We'll always go through this, and I'll spare the don't turn the ball over, everything else.
Yeah.
When it comes to this game, if you're going to get the win, I really look at, you talked about the lines, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't think you can win this game without at least holding par on the line of scrimmage, right?
I think you're 100% right. I think our O-line will handle their business. Protect the football, man. Don't put the ball on the carpet. I mean, that's going to be huge for them. And then when you do throw it, when you get that opportunity, hit guys. Make catches. We talked about in our pre-practice group meeting, be special offensively. What makes an offensive play special is when I give it to you and what you do with it. We can design anything. So we'll be fine there. I think we'll create explosive plays. Defensively, man, we're going to get after them. We can run, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to run. We'll roll the dice at times, and at times we'll sit back. But I think that defensively, stopping the run's always big. But I think more than anything, keeping them in front of us. Don't give up that explosive play that shortens the field for them. Make them drive the ball down the field, and if they have to do that, we have enough playmakers to make something happen.
It's a game of, a lot of times, not just winning, who makes a mistake, and you capitalizing off mistakes, of course.
Absolutely.
And when it comes down to this first games especially, we see mistakes on the field. How can you limit those? Sometimes could be the difference in winning.
Yeah, I mean, what K-State fumbled it 5 times Saturday. It's huge, chance of possible weather, so it's going to be about ball security, and we've worked it hard. I know Graham's worked it hard with the offense, and we'll be ready to go.
All right, well, best of luck. Let's go get a victory, and we'll see you out there soon.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Head Coach Justin Roland. That's going to do it for today's episode of Coach's Corner. Jordan Woodruff saying so long, and until next time, go Cats.